Having not fished for carp at Bury Hill lakes before, I wanted to try and locate the fish to save me baiting up an area that might not have any fish in it. I was casting the Deeper Fishfinder to help give me the extra edge when trying to find those fish. To my surprise, most of the fish were actually showing in the middle of the lake, not near the snags, about 70 yards out from the bank. This was to be the area where we would bait up, in the hope of catching carp. It was then just a case of preparing the right rigs for the job.
Hi, I'm Mike. I work here at the offices at Bury Hill. Also do a bit of fishing. I'm just going to show you through 3 different lead setups that Graeme and Mike are going to be using here tonight at Bury Hill. First one we got is the Inline Lead. You've got your rig tied onto this swivel one end and your main line on the other end, and as it's going through you just pop the swivel in the sleeve there, and that makes it what they call a semi-fixed rig. So it gives the bolt effect. When the fish takes the bait, feels against the weight of the lead, hooks it, bolts off. The semi-fixed means basically if this snaps and the fish has got the rig in its mouth, it's not towing the lead around. Because it's semi-fixed, it can just pop out and the lead will go, and then it's only got this to deal with, and hopefully you can get rid of it. And then all that rig is just a bit of coated braid down just to a normal carp hook, standard knotless knot, and a couple of boilies on there, one pop up, one bottom bait, just to make a simple snowman rig. That's all that is. Right, this is the second rig that Graeme and Mike will be using. Again, it's what they call semi-fixed, where the lead can come off in the event of a breakage. Basically all his main line starts here. It goes through a little bit of sinking tube, rig tubing, which is not essential, but all that does is it helps the line sink down onto the lake bed a bit better, keeps it out of the way of the feeding fish. Down to the lead clip arrangement, which is made up of a tail rubber, which is that bit. The line goes through that and through the actual lead clip. The lead clip has got an arm on it, which you fix the lead onto like that. Just slides on the arm, if I can get it back on. And then your swivel clicks in the other end. That's how it fishes on the bottom, tight to the lead. Bait sitting here, fish picks up the bait, same as last time, feels weight of the lead, hooks itself with the weight of the lead, bolts off, and then the lead stays on. Or, like I was explaining to you earlier, where you're fishing snaggy swims with weed or whatever, or in the event of a breakage where the fish may be towing the lead around, it can just pop off there. And then like I say, in weedy swims or whatever, it's better for having direct contact with the fish. Straight to that, you've got no lead to play around with, or should the line break, the fish isn't towing lead around. Right, this is the third final different lead arrangement that they'll be using tonight. It's probably the simplest of them all. Main line tied straight to the swivel, your hook link swivel, with your lead just running on the main line like that, as a running rig. And then yeah, same as before, just down to a standard carp rig, bit of coated braid. It's a size 6 curved shank on there, and just 2 baits fished as a snowman presentation. Just sit up on the bottom like that with the pop up, and that's it. Hopefully catch a few fish.
Okay, to put some ground bait out there, to get some feed in basically, I'm going to be using one of these plastic bomb-like contraptions. And I'm going to be casting it out with it's called a Skyliner spud rod. Wait for this, somebody threw it in a skip. Honestly, that's true. This is how it works. You put your ground bait inside, in here, or your feed, your hook baits, whatever you want to get it out into your swim at distance, close it up with a little catch. I mean, they are so sensitive, it's unbelievable. Watch. Every time, providing you don't get bait or food around these catches here. You've got to keep those two clear, don't overcook it, okay? Now, another thing I've noticed when I've used this, I've not used them a lot, so I'm not really big on this type of fishing at distance. I'm more a margin man myself. But what I have found is, when you cast these, try and get the same amount of whatever you're putting in, boilies, ground bait or anything like that, because if you don't, you won't get a consistency of casting. If you half fill that with ground bait, the wind will catch it and it'll fly off to the right, fly off to the left, and as you've seen, it will open and it will put the bait in the wrong place. Let's get some out there. I'm actually using here a bit of, well, sweet corn ground bait, and yes, our favourite brand. The downside is it might attract some small fish, but listen, we're using boilies, so that should you know, stop you getting hookups you don't want, and a bite alarms going off all the time, which, you know, does happen. But I'm a great believer, if the small fish are feeding, they actually might attract carp, and if, say, the bream are on there, eventually the carp will shoulder their way in. Bigger, more aggressive fish in feeding, they'll push them off. You might be getting little breamy tweaks on your bobbin, where suddenly it goes quiet. Sit back and wait, because generally it's a sign there's a carp in the swim. Going to put some out there. Just don't want to overcook it and jam it all in there. You want it just to close nicely like that. That one's ready for casting.
Talk about things, talk about my mind. Now I'm free from the words that I left behind. I gotta jump for joy and shout aloud and make a sound. Oh, the world can stop me now, no. And all the music I will ride on the beat. Play my guitar while I'm stomping my feet, yeah. I gotta celebrate life and get excited about good times and good living. Come on, shout it out. Hey, take it up, take it over, take it out of control. Today I'm freeing my soul and now you got me singing. Oh, hey, I'm feeling fine, smiling big, feeling right like I should. Life is better than good, yeah, you got me singing. Oh, hey, I'm standing up on top of the world.
Well, we're in the swim now. We've baited up. We've spawned out a load of ground bait with some whole boilies as well. We've also catapulted out some boilies. And what I've done here, there's my snowman rig on the hair. So I've got a boilie there, pop up there, and then I've got just a mesh PVA mesh bag here with just some chopped up boilies really. That's just so I've got a little bit of a attractant around my hook bait. That should break down quite quickly. And then I'll have some kind of freebies around my hook bait, and with a bit of luck the carp will come in, get a bit confident and hopefully slip up and take the bait. There's the 2 ounce lead there, a little bit of rig tubing just to help it all sink down. It's kind of a silty colour this one, as well as the lake is all silt. So I'll just chuck this out pretty much halfway across from here to the end, to the other bank. That's where we've baited up, and this should work on itself basically. Well, the other thing about this great about this rig tubing is it's kind of fish friendly really. So if this rubs against the fish, it doesn't tend to take the scales off. So when you've got just your mono, your straight mono, it can rub the scales off the fish. So this is a bit more fish friendly, and it's also good if you get into a snag and it's rubbing against the snag. It's going to rub against this rig tubing first and then your lines. You've got much more chance of actually keeping that fish if it does go into a snag. This is just the drop off lead that Mike showed you. So as the fish pulls, this lead, if it gets into a snag, this lead should drop off. Well guys, it's been a tough one. We are literally, it's dark now, and we've had some real finicky takes from the bream. Thankfully we've got some 20mm boilies on there. So that's getting through those bream bites, and I've just got a fish and he's kiting left.
That might be bigger than you think, right?
Yeah, you
it might be bigger.
This is holding this fish. He's about 30 yards out to the left. Someone else has got a screamer somewhere. But it all seems to be kicking off. He's really going for the snags, this one.
Keep the pressure on him.
Look at that bend, look at that bend.
Oh, don't break him off. Don't break him off. I'm going to have to get those other rods in, Mike.
Yeah, get him in, get him in. No, he's alright.
No, he's an okay fish.
Yeah.
He's £8. Get him in, get him in, get him in. He's in.
Yeah, he's in.
Good, good,
Oh.
good. Right, good.
That could be a double. Could be a double. Tell you what, that's been a long time coming, that bite. We've had 2 bream. We've had a hell of a lot of fish busting on the top, coming out, and it's been tough. We're not going to lie, it's been tough, and it's now 10:20.
That was a very uncarpy bite.
Oh, it was strange. Yeah, it was a complete drop back. the bobbin went flat.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had the bobbin on, because I wouldn't have known there's a fish on otherwise. We had so many finicky bites, I would have just left it. But
Yeah.
the bobbin went flat, and I thought I'd better hit this.
Right.
And actually, we've got that's a nice carp in there.
You see across the back there.
Yeah, it's a nice carp. Let's get him right up this one. This is a nice fish. Oh, that's a double.
Oh, that's a double.
What's the lens? That's a nice fish.
Wow, that's a result, ladies. That is a result.
Right.
That's the biggest 8-pound carp I've seen.
Look at that, that's a nice fish. Let's have a look where the old bait is. It's just fallen out. That's the snowman rig that Mike did for us earlier. That is a chunking great carp. Thank you to the old fish finder for helping us find this little bad boy. He's got a fair old belly on him, this one.
Yeah, nice looking fish.
Broad across the top as well. And that's got a good weight to it. We're definitely going to weigh this. But either way,
It's a double, low double, isn't it?
He put up a great fight. Kited to the left. And he's certainly got us on our feet now. Brilliant. We're going to weigh him, get a quick photo,
Return.
and then get him back and get those baits straight back out. Awesome. Here we go. Moment of truth, people. And it's hurting my back. That's 15.5 pound
Cool, we settled for that, won't
of
we?
solid carp.
Settled for that one.
What a beauty. One last look and then he's going back. You don't ever want to let fish back straight away if you've had them out to photograph them and stuff.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah, especially summer months. Fish don't fare too well, as you can see. He'll swim when he's ready. Lovely fish, put up an awesome fight. And to be honest, a lot bigger than we expected.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
A lot bigger than we expected.
I thought it was about 8 pounds, to be honest. I
Yeah.
really think it was about an 8-pounder.
Great take, great fish. Great venue.
And the next twitchy bite I'm going to hit.
Just letting the water go over his gills. Here he goes. Slowly going, look at that.
Away.
Off he goes. Get in.
Well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, guys. I've been sitting in the chair, just nodding off, beep, 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 all the time. And fish on this time. Really kicking, really going. It's close. I think he's got Mike's other line there. He's out there somewhere.
That's a good size. Good fish, good fish.
Have I got it? Okay.
Yeah, he's in.
Here we go, guys. Not as big as Mike's one. Gonna get this one straight back because we've got lines everywhere. It just goes to show, just sitting out there waiting for those rods to go was well worth it. I've sat in that deck chair for 5 hours through the night, freezing every little piece off me, even though it's summer. And what I don't understand is in the middle of nowhere, I throw it in the darkness and now I've got a fish hooked up. It's not a big fish, but it's a carp. I'm going to go this side, guys. I've been doing it old school. This is my bivvy, it's the umbrella. I put a handkerchief over my face to keep the cold air off it. Not a big fish at all. But, tell you what, it's a fish at the end of the day. I wonder if it's a bream or a carp. That's a carp. Not a very big one, but gratefully accepted. And this rod's given me a really good scrap. Especially digging away close in there. And here, I guess we're fishing 70 yards, something like that, I'm guessing. The fish is digging and digging. It's been a few years since I sat up all night in a deck chair. There he is. Well, I wouldn't like to say, guys, I don't think that's going to make a double, but I think he's probably about 9 pounds. A nice comma, gave me a really good scrap. And it's now dawn, it's now light, so we can see what we're doing. Well, obviously the sun's now up. I'm starting to warm up a bit after sitting in that deck chair all night. Next best thing is, well, obviously the carp have gone off the bite. We've gone on the bite. I said to Mike, if you expect me to stay out all night, I need full cooking facilities. And I've taken off High Sea Drifter, the full galley, and a massive canister of gas. So I can really stick the beans to the bottom of the pan now. They're starting to get solid, and I've got the bacon on the go. We're gonna have some eggs. Half the fun of that is, you know, having a cook up, we all know that. And I'm hoping the smell of that bacon goes all the way down the bank and really upset some of the other anglers, because there's nothing worse when you're hungry after a whole night carping and you smell somebody's bacon and egg going. Well guys, up by the clubhouse, by the tackle shop here at Old Bury Hill, I've heard talk of rumours of an absolutely massive carp that's behind a sort of no fishing zone where they feed the ducks, and it's called Shoulders, and I think it weighs 33 pounds. We're just going to see if we can get a picture of it for you. At least that way you get to see a really big carp.
Go away. I've seen there's a big old goldish coloured one, coyish, that sits below the surface because he's frightened of the birds, so he won't ever come up. Strangely enough, but no, they're not. The monster from the deep refuses to be photographed.
That's the sound every floater fisherman loves to hear.
Last knockings, here we go. Go away, ducks. There's a small jar, I'm afraid.
A lot of double figure fish in here though, can you?
Oh yeah. And Shoulders. 9 times out of 10 he goes there. But I can't see him today, probably off on his wanders.
Did they actually go out into the lake, you know?
Oh yeah, that's only, people think that's a net across, but it's not, it's just a cable to stop people casting.
Yeah, but these carp will go out in the rest of the lake, though?
Yeah, they go off their wander, especially in the evening. He was last caught on peg 2 right down the bottom.
Oh really? Goodness me.
Which goes to show, they come to the noise. You can see how, watching these fish, how important noise is in fishing. You can see why the match anglers tap their pole on the surface. If you just do that with a pole section, they come up for it, and you end up trying to eat the pole.
I see, look at that. Yeah,
you can see why the old...
Yeah, because they know the cup is on the end of the pole for food.
Yeah. No, just the noise. They're coming
that
to
popping
the noise.
noise.
Yeah, same as they do for the old catfish on the
Yeah.
Ebro and everywhere else.
I've made up some of these specially, really, for fishing from flat platforms where you can't get rod rest in. Yes, I know you can use those pod stands, but I like to get a different angle, and I found you can't get really pod stands that give you a really steep angle, so you can get the rod tips in the water without having the rod butt up too high. The other thing you'll notice, I've got nuts here that just screw in to take your buzzers. Very, very stable. I can move them backwards and forwards. I can slide them, look, anywhere I want, so that I get a straight pull through my rod rings, reduce the friction. And the other thing you'll notice, I've got here bobbins made from old school washing up bottle or detergent bottle tops. Now you can see here, I've cut just a little channel in that so that I can put the line through the channel when I close it. Otherwise your line pinches, you get it in the channel, it slides up and down. Now that's quite good in windy conditions, but see what I've done with this one? I've cut the edges to make it even lighter, so when I put it on the line, it virtually weighs nothing. But I can even go lighter than that. Right, the other thing I'm going to be using is the spine from a notebook. As you can see, it's plastic. All I do is I cut a segment off of this, just like this, and being curled, I can open it out, pop it over the line, take this one off, and move it up a bit before you can see it. It's very, very, very light. These are my favourite bobbins. In windy conditions, a bit of a problem. So what do I use? A coat hanger. Yes, to stop it blowing around, which gives you all night, drive you mad. Just get a piece of white, because then you can see it in the dark, coat hanger, wire, and all you do, bend it open like this. Measure it roughly. A bit tough, or I'm weak. Then this goes in the soil like that, and you just pop it over the top like that. It's what we used to call monkey climb. So I can pull this down like this, It doesn't blow in the wind, so you don't get false alarms like this all night. And if the fish wants to take, you can slide it up and down. Isn't that simple?